It is a bit intimidating. It is big, it is bold, and it is beautiful. By the way, I probably just described your girlfriend in high school. Big, bold, and intimidating, minus perhaps the beautiful part. Just kidding. Old school Nutnfancy knife review on your computer screen right now. This is, of course, the Benchmade Model 741 Onslaught, and beautiful it is, at least to me. Dudes, it was love at first sight when I checked this blade out. So much to love about it in the philosophy of use of tactical folder. A defensive blade primarily, perhaps secondarily a collectible blade. Things I discussed in my review of the 741. What a great blade. All the awesome fit and finish and honestly value of a good Benchmade blade in the 741. But it's big. It is bold. A little bit intimidating. Hopefully to the bad guy. Okay, great option, tactical folding option. Couple downsides. One, and it still is, 6.8 ounce carry weight. Kind of thick to carry as well. For a lot of folks, maybe not the best choice. Okay, price aside, we'll talk about value on the other knife I want to show you. Imagine if you had a 741 shrunk down to something like this. There you have it. Model 746 Mini Onslaught. The little brother to the 741. Yes, I should have reviewed this a long time ago. It's hard getting around to everything. You guys know that. I love this blade equally, if not more, than the 741. And honestly, I think a lot more people will find this knife more attractive. That's a big blade. In a lot of localities, a lot of countries, it's going to be illegal to carry, flat out. It doesn't matter what POU you want to put it in. Enter the 746 with its 3.45 inch blade weighing 3.8 ounces. Much smaller, compact version, much easier to carry. No, it's not the lightest EDC blade around, and that's the first philosophy of use, of course, that I would specify for the 746 Mini Onslaught. I think it's an ideal everyday carry knife. This one, not so much. I said that in the review, right? Too big. I mean, seriously, you want to do your utility tasks with that big old mamma jamma? I know some guys and gals probably do, but you have to choke up on the blade, and honestly, you're just using the forward swept portion for your taskings anyhow. To me, this is much more ideal. First POU, everyday carry blade, and I have been using this knife just in that POU. Ideal. I love it. A lot lighter options out there as far as carry weights go. Here I go on the weight issue. You guys have seen it for 3 years now, right? 1.5 ounces is really exciting for me, but keep in mind the strength of this knife design. We'll talk about that hopefully as the review progresses. It is a very strong knife. It is a beautiful knife. It's an elegant Bob Lum design. Bob Lum just did so many great blades. He did some collaborations with Spyderco, which I find very attractive. Kind of like the Chinese folder, I think it was called. Love it. The leaf designs, the sweeping elegance of Bob Lum designs attract me. I like it, the simplicity, the elegance, the flowing lines. I just dig it. And form follows function in this Bob Lum design as well in the Onslaught series. And great EDC blade. Could you use this as a tactical knife? Yeah, you could. 3.45 inch blade. We might as well jump into blade shape right now. Look at the belly. I'm always excited, not always, but usually pretty excited about knives like this that have good belly. They're going to be great slicers, and it's mostly full flat ground. Very attractive to me. Unsharpened swedge on the top, just like the 741. Shrunk down version. I love that blade too. Very precise tip. Some will say, well, you know, that's too delicate. Well, don't drop it. Don't stab it into something that will break. If you need a very strong tip on your knife blade, lots of other options. You're going to have a lot of precise capability with this tip on the 746. Again, in the EDC role, that's ideal. If we decide to flex it, I hope this never happens, into the tactical emergency defensive role, Would that penetrate well? Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. Would it snap off on you? I'm sure someone somewhere has snapped off the tip on their 746. No doubt. Take care of it. Don't drop it on the cement. Don't stab it into media that would break the tip. Emergency tactical. We're going to talk about traction here in just a second. That is a downside, and I'm more picky these days about that before I throw it into that philosophy of use. And of course, we always throw this in, especially with Benchmade, because there's guys and gals that are collecting Benchmades for that precise purpose. That's all they're doing is collecting the blade. It's a collectible. You know, 746, it's just a beautiful knife. It's an elegant design, like I said. It's fun to play with. Awesome. Steel, 154 cm. I've talked about this for years. I just love that steel, especially the Benchmade version. Gets it right. Good edge holding, easy enough to sharpen. Not outstanding rust resistance, adequate rust resistance. I have rusted some Benchmade knives out, like the Osborne that I've backpacked with. Not rusted it out, I just got a little bit of rust pitting. Take care of it. It's a great upper end steel. Is it the best around? I don't know. Define best. For me, it's good enough. I like it. And I like the finish on the blade too. See that bright finish? I got this one kind of dirty from use, but I didn't really clean it that much. It's cool. Not stone wash, kind of a Scotch Brite finish on that as best I can tell. Beautiful blade shape. There's the logo from Benchmade on that side. The Bob Lum logo right there. And then I engraved it. Didn't do a superb job on this particular one because that steel's pretty hard. That's another reason I engrave it, is to check the steel's hardness. I don't know if you guys knew that. I think I've mentioned it before. And then I can kind of tell what the engraver's doing, and then I sharpen it, and then I can get a good feel. It's about what I would expect from 154 cm. It's pretty hard and medium sharpenability. By the way, out of box, and I have talked about this in other Benchmade designs, this one came very sharp. Typical Benchmade sharpness. The relief edge, is it something that I would stick with? I would probably make it a little bit more gradual. I don't really dig the steep relief edges. I want them a little bit more gradual and more finer edge, not more finer. And I think I mentioned that about the 741. If not, I'll mention it now. You know, if and when I reprofile them, I'm going to back that edge off just a little bit. I think the 154 cm steel can take it. How about the speed? Well, what's not to like? It's an axis lock. One of my favorite locking mechanisms on folding knives of all time. Powered, not really powered, but actuated by those two Omega springs going through the 420J2 liners on the 746. Look at that stop pin too right there. That's a big old stop pin if you ask me. Thing comes out fast. It's impressive. A good axis lock, the way Benchmade puts them together, guys, like a freaking auto. Just excellent balance, excellent speed. The lockup on the 746 here, wicked tight. There was no movement at all. Does that mean yours will come out of the box wicked tight? I don't know. If it doesn't, you can pivot or tighten it right there. Back it out like I've always said. Blue Loctite it. And I agree, I think out of box, every Benchmade for the price should be pretty much squared away. The edge should be right. The pivot point should be adjusted. You shouldn't have to fool around and dink around for a knife that's costing you over $100. I'm with it. But I'll say from all the Benchmades I'm seeing these days, they are top-notch quality. Love the speed on the axis lock. It is fully ambidextrous, of course. It's a great locking mechanism. I've talked so much about it in the past. I think the strength for EDC, superior, will just be perfect. Heck, in the tactical roll, like I said with Big Brother back here, perfect. Handle material, not super high traction. It's that G10. It's not really polished G10. Just kind of matte finished G10. The good news is under the pocket clip, you're not going to have any pocket shredding going on. That is good news to me, at least. I like the handle material. It is good looking. It is relatively comfortable. It is medium traction. It is not high traction. Like I've mentioned before, that matte micarta and even the G10, when it gets wet, actually gives you pretty good traction. I'm talking with water, not other fluids, whatever. Blood, like if you're skinning an animal. Maybe not so much there. The best traction is that really high traction textured G10 we see on some of the cold steel knives. Other makers are using it too. I was going to tell you this, the rounded handle, kind of not there. There's your aluminum backspacer, by the way. It's not a flow-through design. Kind of jumping ahead to handle. I like the handle though. The looks of it are cool. It does occlude the deployment hole just a bit, but nothing that is significant for me personally. I can still dig my thumb in there. Again, actuate it wicked fast. Who would not like this knife? Seriously. I don't understand it. Ergonomics. If we're talking about the handle, how does it fit as an everyday carry knife in extended use? This is a plus of the 746 Onslaught, just like it was for Big Brother 741. The handle is not super skinny. The plus side of that is it fills your hand good. Okay, for extended cutting, it is comfortable. I did test this. I like it. You know, in the pocket, is it the best to carry? No, not really. There's a lot other thinner options out there that you can run that will probably be more portable, easier to carry. But I'll tell you, when you deploy this sucker and you're cutting with it, you know, for a long period of time, you'll probably like it. I wouldn't, again, mind that being a little bit more rounded, a little bit more ergonomic. In reverse hand, would that work? Absolutely. Okay, I was talking about traction and the tactical roll. Again, the scales, since they're not super high traction, is kind of a downside for putting it in a tactical POU. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, we got no jumping. Nope, that's why I've got my California-style skateboard tape top side there. It works. You know, one of these days we're going to have to start a jimping service. Send in your blade and I will jimp it professionally. It'll look like factory jimping. That's what you need to do. Someone needs to start doing that. Make it affordable, quick turnaround time. You have pictures of where you want to jimp it. Done. I'd do that to this blade. It'd almost make it perfect. With that traction tape topside, oh baby. Oh, it locks in. I can choke up on the blade. No slippage. Will it stay on there forever? I don't know. Probably not. By the way, when we're talking about speed, it's not a thumb stud. It is a deployment hole. The good news on that is it's ambidextrous. Okay, either side it works. With gloved hands, would it work? I tried it with my mechanics gloves. It did work. I have to kind of dig the thumb in there a little bit better. Good ergonomics on it though, except for the jimping. That is a minor hit. That takes us to clip. Oh yeah. Man, that's a bold clip. Speaking of big, bold, and beautiful, dude. Little bit too bold if you ask me. That's a bright finished clip. It does contrast nicely with the G10 handles. However, it kind of varies from this formula. Kind of a black and chrome clip look on the 741. I kind of wish this clip was on that. In fact, I'm very tempted to coat this one. Peel it off, bead blast it, coat it, Duracoat, whatever. Make it probably just black. The reason that is because this is very noticeable outside of pocket. Carries relatively deeply. You can see how, you know, well attached that clip is, by the way. There's your lanyard hole, which I find rather small. You have to work to thread that through. This one's from PFI Dude, this lanyard. On a knife like this, I think it looks cool and it's very functional. Helps you snag that sucker out of the pocket even quicker. And I like my little lanyards like this. Rather short, not real long ones that are flopping around, banging and stuff, getting snagged. Because then what will happen, you'll walk by something, it's going to pull your knife out of your pocket. You will be distracted, by the way, when this happens, and your knife will be gone. I know, it's happened to me. Be careful. Clip is a little bit big. I'm not super stoked on it. A little bit bright. You can take the handle scales off, just like you can, or should be able to, for any quality knife. And check this out. Let's break out the Prion 2 from Phoenix. This one's a gold variety. Got the twist tail cap on it. Skeletonized. See that? Oh yeah, baby. Good job, Benchmade, skeletonizing that. They did it to the maximum extent possible with the axis lock. They couldn't do any more because it's running an axis lock mechanism. Look how thick those liners are, guys. Way thick. And look at the blade centering on this. This 746, it is perfect. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can I get a hallelujah? Love it. Love it. Excellent job. Durability. Well, like I said at the intro, dudes, I think all your Benchmades, not all, but most of your Benchmade designs, if you take care of them, you don't let them get into salt environment. Perhaps with this one, you don't abuse the tip, like drop it into somewhere where the tip's going to bust off. It's going to last a long time. You know, if you need it resharpened, send it back to Benchmade with their sharpening service. Durability is going to be phenomenal. Big word. I really think so. Value. It's hard to ballpark the price you'll pay for your 746 Mini Onslaught. Maybe from about 100 to 130. I'll put in the upper right my recommended locations for you to purchase them. Okay, you look around, you might find even a better deal, but I know those places are good. That's worth it to me. So let's say it's $110. I'm just going to pick an arbitrary number. You paid $110 for your Onslaught. Is it worth it? I would say absolutely yes. Value ain't all about money. It surely isn't. It's about performance. It's about steel choice. It's about durability, speed, and the durability of the locking mechanism, like the axis lock. Firing on all cylinders, the Mini Onslaught 746. Absolutely love it. Cool factor. Well, Bob Lum sadly is not with us. He passed in December 2007. What a great knife designer he was. I think these knives are a little bit more special because they wear the Bob Lum name and they have that very elegant Asian influence on them. And I am a sucker oftentimes for a well-designed Asian influence blade. Talking about the sweeping, elegant, form follows function design. That's what these Onslaughts have, and the 746 is no different, except for a lot of folks it's going to be even better because it's smaller, it's more portable, they can take it to more places. All kinds of options if you didn't want to run this. Around the same price range. What do I have on the table? How about this one? Do you guys remember this? I'm going to go through this really quick. Longhorn. Remember that? By Lone Wolf, now purchased by Benchmade. Sure love that. Abano wood handles. Oh, S30V steel blade. This one came in around $86. What a steal that was. Heavier though at 5.0 ounces. Gorgeous knife. Actual functional jimping on that. Only tip down carry. Oh, by the way, I gotta tell you that. Can you swap the clip? Nope, you can't. You're stuck that way. Now, fortunately, it's tip up carry, which I prefer. However, if you want to swap the clip to that side, you cannot do it. What do we got here? Oh, we haven't seen this one for a while. Competitive option, kind of, sort of. Bradley Alias 1, also produced by Benchmade under the Bradley logo. 4.8 ounces titanium scales. Oh, frame lock. Beautiful knife. Running around $200 these days. I don't even know why I'm showing you this knife. I just wanted to show it to you again. I just love this knife. It's like a Sabenza for less. Just like I said in my review like 2.5 years ago. So it's actually double the price of this knife. How about this one? Oh, this is awesome. S30V. Buck Paradigm. S30V steel. Exactly the same price as this bad boy right here. The 746. The steel on the bottom one, that Paradigm is going to be a little bit better. It's S30V. In my recent cutting tests, stay tuned, I found these knives perform about the same though. You know, good steel, cuts about the same. No, I'm not the expert. How about a low-cost option, 13C26 steel these days, Kershaw Blur. This one's in red, love it. About $50 to $60, 4.2 ounces. So you could buy two of these for the price of one of those. Remember, value is all over the scale. What we deem to be valuable to us may not be valuable to the next guy or gal. Let me go, that's stupid. You should never spend your money on that. But I wouldn't fault anybody who spent $100 or so, maybe $110 or so on a Mini Onslaught 746. It is fast. It is functional. It is a great EDC choice. It carries well in the pocket. It is not obnoxious. It's not too heavy. It's gorgeous and elegant. Love it. Maybe your next girlfriend will be just like that. That's a Nutnfancy tabletop review. See ya.